Hello, everyone. This is Linda Katz from Singing Bird Coaching, and I wanted to shoot you this video to tell you a little bit about my upcoming pilot of my group program called Reclaim Your Wildly Feminine Body that is going to be launching on September 25th, so in about a week and a half from today. And I'm super excited about this program, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about why this particular program means so much to me. So, Reclaim Your Wildly Feminine Body is really an invitation for women to come back home to themselves, to re-embody their own felt experience, and to feel joy and radiance within their own bodies. And you've probably heard the statistics. I know I've heard them floating around for the last few years that somewhere between 80 and 90% of American women are unhappy with their bodies. And whenever I hear that statistic, it really saddens me because as somebody who actively detested her body for many years, I know how deep that level of shame and unhappiness goes. You know, it's not something that just comes up when we're trying on dresses or when we have to put on a bathing suit and go to the beach. Being unhappy with your body is something that is with you all of the time, and it affects how you show up in the world. It affects who you are in your intimate relationships. It affects how you are with your friends, how you carry yourself. And when you're unhappy with your body, it really prevents you from shining your light fully because it prevents you from taking up space in the world and opening up enough to be able to say, here I am and this is what I do, and really give of yourself fully. And you know, there's a plethora of ways, I think, culturally that we tend to try to work from the outside in. So we spend, I think it's $2 billion or so, maybe more at this point, on the diet industry. Add to that the fitness industry, and you know, really trying to fix ourselves from the outside in, with the hope that once we are in maybe not our ideal shape, because we've let go of that level of perfectionism, but at least in a more acceptable shape, that then we can begin to start feeling confident and really feel radiant within ourselves. And it's not entirely wrong. Because I can tell you from personal experience that when you are feeling fairly good about yourself and you're like, okay, I feel good with what my body looks like, and it can give you a sense of confidence. The issue, however, is that confidence is conditional, and it's only available to you when your body meets certain specifications. And here's the deal. Our bodies are our wild nature. They are our connection to everything around us, to everything in nature. And much like everything else in nature, they are changing constantly, especially as women. I mean, just going through the menstrual cycle, we can see how our bodies change from week to week in a single month. And then add to that, you know, if we change jobs or we move locations, we have a child, we go through menopause, our bodies are constantly changing. And so when we get attached to our body looking a particular way, and particularly when we attach our confidence and our sense of self-worth to our body looking that way, in the end it's going to screw us because if we're all lucky, we will age, and time will take its toll. Much like everything in nature goes through those cycles, our bodies are no different. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this is because I really didn't feel lucky at the time, but now I can see that I was lucky enough to begin to notice this at a younger age. So for me, the journey started when I was in high school, and I had an eating disorder, and I absolutely, for about 3 years of my life, hated the way that I looked, like actively detested it. I was very, very thin. I looked like skin and bone. There was nothing else. I did not feel feminine. I did not feel connected to my body. I just felt so much shame and self-hatred. And when I went to college, and then, you know, I put on those freshman 15 and then some, which were very necessary for me at that point. And then all of a sudden, I started to look more normal, quote unquote. I fit in the mold. I would even have gone so far as to say that, like, oh, I might call myself pretty. And that began to grow a sense of self-confidence. But the issue, once again, is that it was not that self-confidence that comes from within and shines out. It's that conditional self-confidence. And so many years later, I was given that reminder of the difference between those two things when I began to develop some adult acne. And it wasn't horrible. It was kind of, not amazing, but I began to have all of those same feelings, all of those feelings and negative sensations about my body, all of those really critical voices just came back in full force. I just felt hideous. I felt worthless. I didn't want to be seen by anybody. And, so I started washing my face like all the time, like I went through the entire line that Whole Foods in West Hollywood carried of skincare products. I cleaned up my diet. It started, maybe it's gluten that's causing it. Maybe it's dairy. Maybe it's sugar. I'll just take out everything because when I have the perfect diet, then I will be rewarded, right, with this clear skin. And what ended up happening was that from all of my various scrubbing my face with so much anger and so much hatred is that I gave myself dermatitis. And I ended up with this big red ring that kind of just went around my mouth. And after Googling dermatitis, I found that really the best way to deal with it was to do nothing, was to leave it alone. That meant not wash it. That meant not put makeup on it. And all of a sudden, it was like the beginnings of this wake-up call. And I began to see that thread throughout my life where I was like, man, I'm falling back into those same patterns that I thought that I had shed way back in the day. Like, I thought that when I went to college, put on the weight, there was this sense of body confidence and joy, but it was that conditional body confidence, right? It came from me fitting into a stereotype that I had deemed to be acceptable. And so back then I didn't have the words for this, but it was the beginning of a journey towards really coming back home to my body and finding the beauty and the confidence inside as opposed to relying strictly on the exterior. And I had to do that in a certain way because I wasn't able to rely on makeup. I wasn't able to, rely on any of the external changes when you have a rash on your face and you're not supposed to put makeup on it. It was either not leave the house or learn to feel okay with who I am, regardless of that. And that was really the start of my journey, and that was many years ago. And it's taken me to this point to really have the words for what that journey meant to me. And what it really meant was, being able to come back home to your body, and instead of thinking about your body from the outside in. So many of us, when we think about our bodies, we're looking in the mirror, and we believe that we step out of ourselves so that we are looking at ourselves the way that we believe someone else would see us. One, we're usually our own worst critic, so it's not accurate to begin with, but it also prevents us from being in our bodies because we're up in our heads thinking about the way our bodies look, and like Cher from Clueless, where she's like, did I stumble into some bad lighting? We're always there and we're not actually present in our own felt experience. And the more that we can come to embody our own felt experience and learn to feel joy and pleasure in the body and through the body by staying here and present, the more that can shine forth as true confidence and true radiance. And the amazing thing is that inner confidence and that inner radiance won't change based upon what the outer shell looks like. It won't change when you get a few extra wrinkles, or your boobs start sagging, or you get a little bit of a belly, or your hair starts turning gray. That inner confidence it just carries you through life. It's like when you go to the beach in, European cities, and you see these older women, and they've got their tiny bikinis on, and they're splashing around in the water and tanning themselves and reading a book, and they're just enjoying their lives. And it's something that in America as women, we've really been taught that in order to enjoy ourselves, we really have to fit within this very specific parameters of what is beautiful and what is acceptable, and it's bullshit. And that is what this program is about. And this video turned into a little bit longer than I was expecting, but like I said, I'm just super duper passionate about this subject matter. And so this 8-week course in Reclaim Your Wildly Feminine Body is about coming back home to your body. It's about re-inhabiting your own felt experience and feeling what it feels like to be present and feel emotion and feel feelings in the body and allowing them to bubble forth, and beginning to carry yourself in a way that is confident, not necessarily in a way that is dependent on how you look on the outside. And so it's really super something that I'm passionate about, and I'm offering it this first time as a pilot program, so it's an amazing deal. And I will post the link to the program in the comments below. And if you are interested, if you are tired of being unhappy in your body, if you have been on the diet wagon, if you've been trying to do, exercise in order to fit yourself in any kind of external mold, or if you have acne or whatever it is that is some kind of outer limitation that is preventing you from fully stepping forth into your feminine radiance and shining your light into the world, then I highly recommend that you check out this program. I'm really excited about it, and like I said, it starts September 25th. So get all the details on my webpage. Like I said, it's an amazing one-time deal for the pilot program, and when I launch officially in January, it will be about 4 or 5 times as much. So take advantage of this one-time offer. All right, I will talk to you all later, and thank you for watching, and much love.